From the vibrant streets of Barbados to the dazzling lights of Hollywood, one girl's voice would soon echo across the globe. Her name is Rihanna Fenty, but the world knows her simply as Rihanna. She's been called the Queen of Reinvention, the billionaire mogul, and the fearless voice of a generation. But before the fame, before the empire, there was a young girl struggling through hardship, carrying scars the world could not see. How did she rise from a fractured childhood to become one of the best-selling artists of all time? How did she survive scandal, heartbreak, and the unforgiving spotlight of fame, only to emerge stronger, bolder, and more powerful than ever? This is the untold story of Rihanna. Her rise, her storms, and the empire she built from the ashes. Rihanna was born Rihanna Fenty on February 20, 1988, in St. Michael, Barbados. She grew up in a modest bungalow in Bridgetown, surrounded by the warmth of the Caribbean sun but weighed down by the shadows within her home. Her father, Ronald Fenty, struggled with alcohol and crack cocaine addiction, creating an unstable and often painful environment. Her mother, Monica, worked tirelessly as an accountant to provide for her 3 children, shielding them as best she could from the turbulence. As a child, Rihanna was plagued by severe headaches and anxiety, physical symptoms of the stress that haunted her young life. Music became her refuge. She sang in school talent shows, performed reggae and calypso rhythms, and dreamed of escaping to something greater. Her favorite artists, Madonna, Mariah Carey, and Janet Jackson, became both her inspiration and her escape. But even in these difficult years, Rihanna's charisma shone. Friends recalled how she could light up a room with her smile, how her voice carried a maturity far beyond her age. Then came a twist of fate. In 2003, while singing with 2 classmates, she auditioned for Evan Rogers, an American music producer vacationing in Barbados. The moment he heard her sing, he knew she was special. Rogers would become the bridge between Rihanna's small island life and the world stage. Rihanna's childhood was a storm of hardship and hope, a crucible that forged the resilience she would need to survive the pressures of global fame. At just 16, Rihanna left the only world she had ever known. With Evan Rogers as her mentor, she flew from Barbados to the United States, carrying nothing more than a suitcase, raw talent, and an unshakable dream. It was a leap of faith, a teenager stepping into the heart of the American music industry. In 2005, she auditioned for Def Jam Recordings in New York City. Sitting at the head of the label was Jay-Z, one of the most influential figures in hip-hop. Nervous but determined, Rihanna sang Whitney Houston's For the Love of You. By the time her audition ended, the room was silent, until Jay-Z reportedly told his team, "Don't let her leave the building until we sign her." That very night, Rihanna secured her first major record deal. Her debut single, Pon de Replay, was released in the summer of 2005. With its infectious Caribbean rhythm and her distinctive voice, the song quickly climbed the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at number 2. It was more than a hit. It was an announcement. A new star had arrived. Her first album, Music of the Sun, introduced the world to her Caribbean roots. But it was her follow-up, A Girl Like Me, 2006, that pushed her further into the spotlight with tracks like SOS. Rihanna was no longer a girl with potential. She was a rising star whose voice and presence could not be ignored. The journey from a Barbados schoolgirl to a Billboard sensation had only just begun. By 2007, Rihanna's career skyrocketed with the release of her third album, Good Girl Gone Bad. Gone was the innocent island teenager. In her place stood a confident, edgy young woman who was ready to conquer the world. With her sleek bob haircut, bold fashion choices, and undeniable charisma, Rihanna had transformed her image, and the music industry took notice. The lead single Umbrella, featuring Jay-Z, became a cultural phenomenon. It dominated global charts, won a Grammy Award for Best Rap Sung Collaboration, and turned Rihanna into a household name. Overnight, the refrain, Ella, Ella, A, became an anthem that defined an era. From that point forward, Rihanna was unstoppable. She delivered hit after hit. Disturbia, Don't Stop the Music, Only Girl in the World, We Found Love, and Diamonds. Each song showcased her versatility, shifting seamlessly from dance pop to EDM, from ballads to anthems that filled stadiums. Her albums consistently reached multi-platinum status, selling millions worldwide. By her mid-20s, Rihanna had already collected multiple Grammy Awards, Billboard Music Awards, and MTV VMAs. She became one of the best-selling artists of all time, with over 250 million records sold globally. But Rihanna's influence extended beyond music. She became a fashion icon, gracing magazine covers and turning red carpets into her personal runway. Brands lined up for collaborations, and her daring, trend-setting style inspired designers and fans alike. Still, her ambitions didn't stop there. In 2017, she launched Fenty Beauty, a cosmetics brand that redefined the industry with its groundbreaking inclusivity, offering 40 foundation shades for every skin tone. Within a year, the brand generated over $500 million in revenue. Later, her lingerie line, Savage X Fenty, brought the same unapologetic boldness to fashion, celebrating diversity and body positivity. From hitmaker to business mogul, Rihanna had transcended the role of pop star. She wasn't just shaping the music industry, she was reshaping culture itself. For all her success, Rihanna's journey was not without darkness. In February 2009, the world was stunned when graphic images of the singer, bruised and battered, surfaced after a violent altercation with her then-boyfriend, Chris Brown. The shocking event dominated headlines, sparking global outrage and conversations about domestic violence. Overnight, Rihanna went from pop princess to the center of a media storm. The scandal threatened to derail her career. Some questioned if she could ever recover, while others rallied behind her as a symbol of resilience. The world watched as she struggled with heartbreak in the harshest spotlight imaginable. Yet instead of retreating, Rihanna transformed her pain into art. Songs like Russian Roulette and her collaboration with Eminem, Love the Way You Lie, reflected her inner turmoil and resilience, turning her scars into powerful storytelling. But the Chris Brown incident was only the beginning of her complicated relationship with fame. Rihanna became a constant target for tabloids, which documented every romance, every party, and every bold fashion choice. Rumored relationships with Drake, Leonardo DiCaprio, and later A$AP Rocky fueled endless speculation. Her love life became public property, dissected and debated across social media and glossy magazines. Critics accused her of being reckless, pointing to her hard-partying lifestyle and defiant attitude. Yet fans admired her for living unapologetically, refusing to conform to the polished image the industry often demanded from women. This duality, rebel and role model, victim and survivor, made Rihanna one of the most polarizing figures in entertainment. Through every storm, however, Rihanna refused to be broken. She reclaimed her narrative, turning moments of scandal into fuel for reinvention. While others might have crumbled under the weight of public scrutiny, Rihanna grew stronger, preparing to rise from controversy not as a fallen star, but as a global icon in complete control of her destiny. What could have destroyed her instead became the fire that reshaped her identity. Rihanna refused to be defined by scandal. Instead, she chose to rewrite her own story. Her reinvention began with her business ventures. In 2017, she launched Fenty Beauty, a cosmetics line that shattered the beauty industry. Unlike traditional brands, Fenty celebrated inclusivity, offering 40 foundation shades for every skin tone. The impact was seismic. Makeup counters worldwide transformed, and Rihanna became a pioneer for diversity in beauty. The brand's immediate success turned her into a billionaire mogul almost overnight. Not long after, she expanded with Savage X Fenty, a lingerie line that redefined femininity. Gone were the outdated standards of perfection. In their place stood body positivity, diversity, and empowerment. Her fashion shows, streamed to millions, became cultural events, part concert, part revolution. Rihanna also leaned into philanthropy. Through the Clara Lionel Foundation, She funded global education, health, and emergency relief projects. In 2017, Harvard University named her Humanitarian of the Year, recognizing not just her artistry, but her global impact. Meanwhile, her long musical hiatus only intensified her mystique. Fans eagerly awaited R9, her ninth studio album, proving she no longer needed constant releases to stay relevant. Rihanna had transcended the charts. This reinvention turned her into more than a star. She became a symbol, a woman who transformed personal pain into power and industry barriers into opportunities. Rihanna was no longer just performing on stage. She was rewriting the rules of fame itself. Rihanna's legacy is not confined to the stage or the studio. It stretches far beyond music. She is a trailblazer who turned her voice into an anthem, her struggles into resilience, and her vision into an empire. Few artists in history have managed to dominate not just one industry, but several: music, fashion, beauty, and philanthropy. For young women around the globe, especially women of color, Rihanna represents possibility, proof that greatness can rise from the most unlikely of beginnings. Her songs remain cultural landmarks, from Umbrella to Diamonds, while her businesses continue to reshape industries once resistant to change. But perhaps her greatest legacy is her unapologetic authenticity. Rihanna has never pretended to be perfect. She has shown the world that strength comes from vulnerability, and that reinvention is the key to survival in the unforgiving world of fame. The story of Rihanna is a reminder that no matter where you come from, even a small island in the Caribbean, you can change the world. This is Rihanna, proof that from pain comes power, and from ambition comes immortality.